Alright folks, let's talk about gambling. The only hobby where people lose money and somehow they feel like it's fun. We've got high stakes, adrenaline rush, and let's be real, the poor decisions that follow. Some people bet on sports, some bet on poker, and others, they might bet on love, life, and sometimes on their cousin that they're going to finally get paid back that $25 they loaned in 2019. If you've seen Kakegurui, then you know how wild anime can get when it comes to these high stake situations. That anime had school kids betting everything from money to their pride to their actual lives, all while making more facial expressions than a toddler trying wasabi for the first time. But today, we're not talking about the anime Kakegurui. We're going to talk about something a little familiar, a little risky. What I like to call American live adaptations. Yes, we're going down that nightmare. But despite the hell that American live adaptations has put us through, this will be my first review on one on YouTube, or actually ever recorded. But I've had a lot of experience when it comes to live action adaptations and American ones also. That's right, today we're going to be putting the spotlight on Bet, a flashy homegrown take on the thrill of gambling power and high stakes drama that comes with it. If you've had your experience with American anime adaptations of live action, I keep switching up we're just going to say American live action from now on, okay? Alright, if you've had your experience with American live action, I want to apologize to you. Did I have anything to do with those? No, I didn't. But I feel like someone should apologize to you. I wish someone would apologize to me, because I can't get that time back. You can't either. So I want to apologize to you because I got to show some gratitude, or do something for you. You're sitting here watching this video. I want to do something for you. So I apologize that you had to go through that. Okay? I'm Alton, the Analyst. So let's, in case you don't know. I know that was a little weird. But I'm Alton, the Analyst, in case you don't know. And let's make a bet, right? If you end up loving this video, I bet you'll subscribe. If you don't subscribe, I don't know what you want. If you don't think this video is great and you don't subscribe, let me know what live action you would like me to review in the comments so I can get another shot at earning your subscription. Cool? Bet? Bet? Shake my hand. All right. I don't have anything else for this intro. Alright, let's jump into the history of Kakegurui. It was originally a manga series created by Homura Kawamoto and illustrated by Toru Nomomura. The manga was first serialized back in 2012 and quickly picked up steam. It has a total of 13 volumes. The anime adaptation, though, that's where things get a little interesting. It dropped its first season in 2017 and it was met with a pretty positive receptions. We got 2 seasons, with the second airing in 2019. The show was produced by MAPPA, which we've talked about MAPPA a lot of times on this channel, okay? Now there's also a live adaptation that was made in Japan of Kakegurui, which, well, let's say we're planning a future review on that too. So stay tuned for the breakdown where we'll dive into that weird, wild world of the live action. And speaking of live action adaptation, let's go ahead and talk about the history of American live action adaptations. We've had some ass throughout the years. I can't even say stinkers, farts, shit. It's ass. Everything that all that stuff I said comes from. That's what it is. Ass. We had stuff like Fist of the North Star and Crying Freeman. Both were awful and painful to watch. Then, of course, there was the legendary, undefeated, well, it just got defeated by Snow White, but longest reigning champion in the history of live adaptation shits, Dragon Ball Evolution. After that travesty, Dragon Ball fans pretty much braced themselves for disappointment every time they heard Hollywood was touching an anime. Well, at least in my opinion. You got Battlestar Alita, I think it was named. I forgot, but it's somewhere around that. That was decent. And then most recent, we've had One Piece. And look, we had Chopper announced. Chopper looks good. More hope in that, right? Season 1 wasn't that bad neither. And then, we got things to remind us that things can go fucking bad. And I would call it Final Destination fucking 5.5. I don't know. But it was fucking Final Destination, not Death Note, okay? I don't even like to call this shit Death Note, okay? I just call it Final Destination, The Curse of the Book or some shit. I don't know. But rename this shit and package this shit. Just send this shit. Okay. I want to go ahead off script real quick and talk to you guys about live action, correct, really. If you've known me for a while, you know I'm a big advocate for live actions, whether it's from Hollywood or whether it's from Japan. Or I don't care, it could be from Taiwanese, it don't matter. I don't care where it's at. I advocate for it. I know, yes I know, these things can have different visuals. The story could be changed a bit. And sometimes most of the time, it's not going to go exactly how the anime or manga comes. And that could be for a whole bunch of reasons. Because of runtime, so they don't have the time to fit every little detail that you love from your favorite manga or favorite anime into the movie or TV show. Or it could be for, I would say, current issues. It could be some things that's out of date and isn't going to be really portrayed well. I can't think of examples on my head, but I'm pretty sure they've done that before.
So basically they try to modernize a lot of the live actions just so it can give it that real world feeling. And the reason is because what we as a nerd or anime fan or what comic book fan or book fan, whatever the adaptation is coming from, what we as fans need to understand is, yes, we deserve the excitement, and yes, we deserve to be very happy that something that we've loved, a media that we loved, is getting a chance to be on the big screen. Why? It's because it gives more of an open view for another audience, an audience that doesn't read, sadly. An audience that doesn't read manga or comics or watch anime or watch cartoons or in that sort. So it gives them a chance to actually go ahead and be introduced to the thing that you love. And sometimes they have to switch it up or make it more realistic just so that person can get a more of an understanding. Now, sometimes the switches or the updates are terrible. Sometimes they're actually good. And sometimes they can, it can pass. But to expect a manga or anime to be fully adapted to film is just too much to be asking.
Is about Yumiko Jabari, who walks into this fancy school called Hayakul Private Academy. I don't know if I butchered that, but I don't care. Which isn't your average school. No, this place runs by gambling. Yep, gambling. The students, they gamble against each other, and the winners get to call the shots, and the losers, well, they become what they call pets. That's basically slaves who serve the big winners. Yumiko, though, isn't your normal student. She's here for a specific reason. In the anime, they make it look like she's there just to go against the best for gambling. But on here, she's trying to figure out who murdered her parents and how is the school connected to that. But here's the thing. Yumiko has a serious gambling problem. And by problem, she's going to let you know that all the time. She's a compulsive gambler. Kakegurui. You're going to hear that like 5 times throughout the whole show. Because she loves gambling, she loves the stakes, the danger. As she goes through this school, she's going to throw herself into these insane gambling matches. But she does it with honor. She's not going to cheat to win. She's all about pure chaos. And I gotta admit it, it's a pretty wild ride. If I'm being real, even if you've seen the anime or read the manga or even checked out the live action before Bet,
the show still has enough surprises that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. It's fresh, it's fun, and even though it's built different, it still holds that chaotic Kakegurui vibe. For the plot, I'm going to give it a 2.1 out of 3. It's great, it's chaotic, but it could have been a little more fleshed out so it can have the connections and some parts hit harder.
Now let's talk about the world building, which I believe is one of the coolest part of Bet. I love how they took the world and made it more modernized and westernized. The characters, diverse, dynamic. We've got some changes, character swaps, and adds to the characters, but they give off the same vibes as their manga counterparts. It's cool to see different touches they've added while keeping the core world intact. Now, this world's pet system where if you lose, you become someone's pet. I love this concept. I mean, I'm not a fan of slavery or anything. I'm just saying it's what makes you it's what attracts you to you. I'm appalled that you would think. Okay, back to what I was trying to say. Is that it's just what attracts you to the show. That's all I was saying, okay? I don't love slavery. Look, you get humiliated. You do their bidding, and your debt just grows until you're completely at their mercy. Imagine being stuck in that cycle. Also, the old student council wearing blazers, great touch. That's just one example of how they gave these characters something symbolic to separate them from the rest of the adaptations. And the games, they didn't just recycle old ones from the other adaptation. I'm pretty sure there was probably only one I can remember that was put on Bet that came from the other adaptations, and that was the one when they cut the lines and someone cut their finger. But on this one, they made up new ones, which is a great move because it keeps us guessing on how things are going to turn out. No one knows how the game will be going, and it keeps that excitement. They also made the world feel more connected to the outside, showing that the school isn't just some random place. The students come from powerful families, meant to learn how to be top-tier business people and decision makers. They bring that outside influence and status into the school. And I love the fact that they brought that in because I don't remember the anime or the other live adaptation really talking about that. Let me know if they did in the comments. But for the world building, I give it a 2.2 out of 3. It's a rare form of a live adaptation to put more depth into something that they were adapting from. And it works. So yeah, 2.2 is a great score for that because I know they're going to put more to it. The character development is phenomenal to me. I think it's really what, other than the world building, is what separates Bet from the rest and kind of did it better. Now, my whole motivation was me making a hate post on TikTok about I hated how the characters' design looked and how the casting looked. I really did. First impressions was terrible to me. But I have to apologize because it ended up being the exact thing that's my favorite of this show. Like, for example, Yumiko, she's still the Yumiko that we know. She's a compulsive gambler, obviously. Kakegurui, obviously. But she loves the chaos, all yada yada yada, everything that we got from the other adaptations. But on this one, her character gets a little more depth because of this whole revenge storyline. Because I don't remember really Yumiko being under pressure. Usually when the stakes are high, she kind of gets turned on about that. On here, not so much. Whenever she's like her back's to a wall, she kind of shows that she's worried. She shows a little bit of fear. She understands that things can go wrong and not and the chaos can ensue, but not in the way that she likes. And I do feel like it does deepen her character development.
Now let's talk about Maya. In Bet, Maya starts off as the classic enemy turned ally, but with a twist. She's got the same drive and ambition as always, aiming to be the top. But in this adaptation, we see more of her personal side. She's not just a player in the game, she got her own goals and desires. Mary's portrayed by the talented Eve Edwards, bringing a fresh vibe to the character. And let's not forget her relationship with Riri, adding layers to her character and making her more relatable. Even though she's not a main focus, she's definitely a wild card in this game, and I find myself rooting for her even more after this adaptation. Mary's journey in Bet is a reminder that sometimes the most compelling characters are the ones who walk their own path.
And yes, her sexuality is, well, I mean, she was a little gay on the other adaptations, but she didn't go full blown dating women. On here she does. She ends up dating Riri, who is Kira's sister on the show. Now Riri is another made up character. Riri is I would say the combination is there was twins. There was two twins on the anime that took advantage, and they served as like host, and they didn't, they had those masks on and stuff like that. I think Riri was a replacement for them, but gave a little more story and backstory to her and investment on her. Riri is even though Riri is, well, matter of fact, most of the people that are made up or just inserted, like I said, like characters that was added or replacements, they actually have more influence or more impact on the story than the original adaptations. That out. Then you have the two people who replace Ryota, the main male protagonist of Kakegurui. We get him in the manga, we got him in the anime, and we definitely got him in the live adaptation. But I see that they split his character into two characters in Bet. You have the black guy. I want to know. His name's Ryan on there, close to Ryota, but his name is Ryan. He takes up the aspect of the male protagonist in this story, sort of a love interest to Yumiko, which I really like. And in the anime, Ryota had a crush on Yumiko, and he didn't. I don't think he made his move enough. I think that Ryan made his move enough on here and showed his feelings, and made his feelings pretty quite clear to Yumiko in here, and she seems to have feelings for him back. And he's very, like I said, he's very loyal. He's always on her. He's on her side. He's even okay. Number one, this is Alton. Edit Alton. We're not gonna sit there and act like at one scene or most of the whole goddamn show that this guy didn't have the whole tapered fro, right? And then just for this scene only, when he's dancing with her, this motherfucker got some straight backs and a little bit of hang time too. Get the fuck out of here, Netflix. He's even trying to save her when she's a danger to herself. And the other side of things of Ryota's character, I feel, is took over by the role of this guy named Michael. A guy who knows the rules. He doesn't care for the rules. But since he sees that Yumiko is something that is not good for the system, he decides to help her, decides to back her up. And then they're just like Riri, since he is a made-up character and just an added character, but he also serve a significant importance to the plot and overall story of Bet. So he's not just there to be there. Then Kira. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw Kira's character, I was like, ugh, what the fuck? Why the fuck is they turned her into this emo looking chick and stuff like that? But like I said, I was wrong. They ended up making her way more, I would say, sympathetic. It makes you more sympathetic to her character because really all she's trying to do is keep things in order and prove to her fucking villain of a dad that she can be what she's been raised to be, and that is the person that takes over the whole business, runs the school. But Yumiko and her shit fucks that all up for her. But at the end of the day, she comes into a realization. We I don't want to spoil too much, but just check it out. All I can say is that she shows a little more promise, and she shows a little more charisma and character to her part than the other adaptations does. I think when it comes to switches, there's this guy who's up there. He is like a social media type of guy. Now on the other adaptations, we got a girl who's like a K-pop star, and she plays her game through her little shows and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I can't forget the elephant in the room. A lot of people in my comment section in that video, when I was talking shit about the cast, I had this guy that I'm having displayed as Runa, because that's what was presented, right? We didn't see Runa in the previews or in the trailers. We saw this guy, but this guy's not Runa. He's just a good model pet. He's the pet of the social media guy. That he just loves being a pet. All right, that's all I can say. All right. Runa is in the show. She does still have the same vibe that she does in the other ones. She still wears the cute little outfits, and she ends up having this beaver bodyguard right here, which happens to be my goat. If you know, you know. All right. So that's really all much I have to say about the character development. Well, overall, I'm just saying is they made changes and the changes worked. They worked out great, and they didn't shit. It wasn't shit. I love the fact that they did that. So I'm giving the character development a 2.5 out of 3. Okay, let's talk about the visuals. The look and feel of Bet is very unique. It takes a whole high stakes of gambling thing and cranks it up with visual intensity. The cinematography matches the insane energy of the series. Even though it's a live action adaptation, the way they bring the world to life keeps things engaging and fresh. In the last adaptation they had, you could really see that they took a lot of elements and really brought the over dramatic energetic style that the anime had to live action. Now, like I said, this is westernized, and movies in Japan and on the east, they give you the same energy that an anime would, because that's how they are. That's just how they are. What it doesn't really always cross over to Hollywood well. But I like the fact that they still got the same vibes right, but didn't go over top corny looking like Japan can pull off. So the visual, and then as far as the school, it just looked like a school. I mean, sometimes things stand out. I mean, you could still tell that it was a well done school, but you could just tell they didn't go too all out as far as the budget for the settings, but it wasn't terrible either. So I'm going to give the visuals a 1.5 out of 3. Overall, Bet is a wild, fun ride that keeps you on your toes. It's got that chaotic energy that we love from the original manga and anime, and it brings something new to the table with its modern takes and twists. The world building, character development, and visual work together to make this adaptation worth checking out. Sure, there are a few areas where it could have been sharper, but when it comes to considering the effort, they did a great job. It actually exceeded far beyond my expectations. Right when I thought that Netflix was going to fail me, they actually proved me wrong. So hopefully they do that. Well, not prove me wrong, because I'm going to start having more hopes in them now, but hopefully they keep up the energy that they did with this, you know? And I feel that if you have friends out there that haven't seen Kakegurui or read the manga or watched the anime or even the live action, I feel this would be a great way that you can introduce them to the world of Kakegurui without too much pressure. And then maybe after they're done with the show, you can tell them, hey, you know, this is based off an anime. And they might actually check it out, you know? But I'm Alton the Analyst. Did I win my bet? If I didn't, my bad. Let me try again. Give me one more chance. Alright? Alright, that's a wrap. But hey, don't go anywhere, okay? Right now. Because right here on your screen, is a whole playlist of anime reviews that I've done in this same style. And if you are an anime fan, go ahead and click this. You can watch them. You don't have to watch them all the day. Or you can just have them playing in the background while you play your game. Sleep to it. Take a shit to it. I don't care. Just let it play. You know, I need the watch hours. You know, I'm trying to get paid. You feel me? But other than that, please like this video. It does help this channel also. Share this to someone who also checked out the Bet Show and see what they think about this review. Let me know what you think in the review in the comments. Yes, I know I told you to hit the comments a lot in this video. I want you to comment every time I told you to comment. There's no limit to the comments. So get to that, okay? And subscribe, even if I lost the bet. I'm just trying to slip that in there, okay? But other than that, I'm Alton the Analyst, and you guys stay blessed.